Welcome everybody. Welcome back to my podcast. If you're listening to this, welcome back. And this is my 31st episode. So don't worry if you're listening to this one, you haven't missed out on anything. Basically, it's not going in a sequence, so you can always listen to the old ones as you wish. They're not like I said, they're not in sequence that you need to be listening to this particular episode and then you need to follow up the next one to get to the exactly, so that it's like, of course, I'm not going to say I'm not missing out on anything on the topics that I've already touched on, but it's not like a sequence where that one comes and then the other one follows like the normal, like TV shows episode. You have to watch the last episode to understand what's happening in the next episode. This is not something like that, so you can always catch up. You can always listen on whatever episode you're on, and then that's basically something new within each episode, which means you're basically on the right track. You're not missing out on anything, but again, you are missing out on anything, which exactly doesn't make sense at this moment. But if you get it, yeah, that's basically it. So you can continue listening to my 31st episode, and if you have free time, you're more than welcome to listen to the other ones. But let's go ahead and talk about the topic for today, which I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really have this in my mind. This topic kind of popped up in my head when I was kind of driving back home from somewhere, and I had prepared a different topic to talk about, but now we're gonna cover it in my next segment or in my next episode, whatever. So today's topic is basically about, I don't even know what to call it yet, because it's something that I haven't thought about the name to give it. But if you're listening to this, this is something that I'm gonna say, and it's just a reminder of the fact that this is how I see it, okay? This is not you, and this is not how you, I don't think you should see it this way, because that's not who you are. But again, I'm just gonna give you something that you can look at differently if you happen to want something to look at in a different perspective of things. Then maybe try to look at my point of view, or try to look at the perspective that I use to deter why people should be forgiveful. I know that sounds like it's a topic for now, but again, I feel like it's going to be covering a lot of things this time, and I'm sorry if I got over time this time. I usually try to keep my episodes really short and sweet, but this time is just, I don't know how long it's going to go for. That's the first thing I want to warn you about if you're listening to this. It's just like I was driving today, as I was driving back home, and I sat there and I thought about how we're so negative. I know I've talked about this before if you've listened to my past episodes. We're so negative, right? We are negative in everything we do. Like, if anything ever happens to us, the first thing we tend to think about is negativity of that thing, of that outcome that's happening within the moment that we're in, within the thing that we're thinking about ourselves for the future preferences. Like, we're so negative with everything that goes on in our life that we can't think about the positive things, right? So when I talked about forgiveful like a few minutes ago, even when you come to forgiving, it's the same. Like, it's really, really the same. It's like when you're about to forgive somebody, the negative thing also exists within you. It's like, let's say somebody just messes up and they do something really bad. I'm not gonna say that, of course, you have to forgive somebody because they've done something bad for you to feel like they even need to be forgiven. But otherwise, why are we talking about being forgiveness? So it's like they do something bad, and then but you've had other good things with them. You've had good moments with them. They've been nice to you. They've been really these loyal friends to you, and everything. Basically, everything's been good. Everything has been good, or everything has always been good with you guys. But then something just happened, which triggers the moment where you feel like, okay, we're done. And don't get this wrong, feeling that I'm talking relationship wise, because I know relationship is a hot topic in this generation, but I feel like this particular thing also exists in many things, not just relationship wise. When I talk about relationship wise, I'm talking about being in that type of relationship. We're dating, we're doing that and that, we're married and that kind of stuff. That's not exactly what I'm talking about, okay? This is not, it maybe can be also referred to it if you're listening to it, but it's more of the fact that it's also on individuality. It's also on us personally. So when I'm talking about that, it's like you've had these moments with these people where you like basically everything's been good, but they do one thing and you just feel like, nah, I'm done with you. Like, I'm done. I'm never gonna get over this. I'm never gonna forgive you for what you just did. Like, it's like we're so negative on thinking that I'm not gonna forgive somebody just for the one thing. One. They might have even 2, 3, I don't know how many, but let's not go over 3 at the moment. But they might have like all those things that they do that are good also, but you're so focused on the one thing that did bad, and then you just feel like, I'm never gonna forgive you, like blah blah blah, and that you talk so a lot and you just forget that they've only done one thing and that's bad, and there's a lot of things that they did good. I don't know if you're getting what I'm trying to say. It's like they've only done one thing that's bad, and there's a lot of things they've done that's good, you know? What I'm trying to say is the fact that we're so ready to rush and jump to a conclusion of having hatred, of being so negative, and we forget to like put things on scale and try to measure things out and see which one weighs more weight than the other one. Because if you're really gonna put stuff on scale and you weigh the fact that you messed up once but you've always been great, 100, no, I'm not gonna put it 100 because now you messed up once, it makes it 99%, you know? The 99% goes above 1%, right? So doesn't that mean like the 90%, like the 99% overtakes the 1%? But we don't think that way because we're just so focused on the negative. It's like the 1%. Yo, what are you thinking about? It's like if they tell you you're getting probably 1% interest, 10% interest for something, and you're getting 1% interest for the other thing, you're more likely to take the 10%, let's face it, because you feel it's a greater deal, right? It's a greater deal. That's where you're gonna go. That's the way I'm gonna measure it in a relationship, or in whatever friendship you have, or in whatever, I don't know what type of relationship you're in right now, and you feel like somebody has done something bad to you or something wrong to you, and you just think that you can't forgive them. Or it's not just about the fact that you can't forgive them. It's also about the fact that are you able to actually ask for those forgiveness? You know, it's like some people have this thing in them. It's like, I'm gonna call it an ego, because I feel like it is. You think you asking for forgiveness, it's like you're doing somebody a favor. But the thing you're not realizing, you're doing yourself a favor by asking for that forgiveness, yo. I don't know if you might have had a relationship which has become so toxic. I don't know if this can be in best friendship ways, this can also be in partnership ways, this like any type of relationship which has become toxic, and maybe it's because of the fact that you're not willing to forgive that person, or maybe it's the fact that you have that ego in you that's telling you, now why should I be the one to apologize when they can also be doing the same. It's not about the fact why should I be the one apologizing when they should be doing the same. It's about the fact that if you do it, are you gonna feel good within yourself? It's not about them. At this moment, I feel like when you ask for the forgiveness, it's not just about the fact that you're asking them for forgiveness. It's about the fact that you're also doing that for yourself. You're not doing it for them, you're doing it for yourself. At least that's how I feel. I told you, this is from my perspective, but I feel like if you apologize to somebody for knowing that you messed up, you feel good about yourself. You feel, now you're like at peace. It's so weird how we're not ready to forgive, but if you think how many times God has forgiven you, like, what are you, like, for real, like, if you think about it, God has forgiven you how many times, and yet you're here doing what? I'm just gonna pop that question to you. Like, you're here doing what to other people? You've done how many bad things? Because we're all human beings. You can't tell me that you haven't done something bad. You haven't screwed up something that you think is not worth being forgiven for. You know, it's not worth God forgiving you for that thing. That includes me. I've done a lot of stuff that I don't think God should forgive me for. But guess what? He still forgave me. Do you know what I mean? But the fact that you think that only one thing that one person has done for you, is not worth your forgiveness, or is not worth you approaching for the fact that you acknowledge you did something wrong. This is just something I want to tell you. Like, Stop thinking that if you're gonna forgive somebody, your ego is being hurt or something like that. Or stop thinking that if you're gonna ask for forgiveness, something is wrong with that. Because honestly, you asking for forgiveness, it's you seeking peace within yourself. You're never gonna get peace if you know there's somebody across the corner or somebody along the road that every time you meet, it triggers a moment. There's a time I was listening to this word of God, honestly, and it's like it talked about how, like, you know, the sexual intercourse kind of thing, and then once you do that, it's like it creates these soul ties and blah blah. Like, I don't know if you know what I mean, but those soul ties are created, and every time you see them, maybe something triggers. This is a word of God I'm quoting. It's not my word, by the way. This is a word of God I listen to. So it's like these soul ties are created, and every time you see that person, it triggers a moment, it triggers something. I don't know. That's the same way I feel when it comes to forgiveness. But personally, that's how I feel about it. Like, if you're not gonna be able to say sorry or to be like, I forgive them, I feel like that soul tie is also created, because every time you see that particular person that you're mad at, that particular person that have hurt you, every time you see them, that thing is gonna trigger, because you guys never address the issue. You never sat down and address the issue to a point where you're like, okay, I know we've all done something, because it takes two people for something to happen. You can't tell me it just takes one person for something to be created. Okay, you might disagree with that, but yeah, to some extent maybe, but I don't think that's personally, I don't see it that way, because it takes the two to do something. So you guys need to sit down and address the issue and be like, we don't want to be walking around with this luggage on our shoulder, with this burden on our shoulders, that every time we see each other, something has to trigger. And when that thing triggers, it's just something negative. Why can't we just have the memories where we're able to talk just positive things? Because I might have had good memories with you, like 100%, like, or you might have had fantabulous memories with some particular person or some group of people, depending on how big your group of circle is and how big they've messed up to a point where they've really done something that really triggers that hate in you. I don't know how, but unless you actually go ahead and talk about something, you're never gonna feel good about it, because we've had fantabulous memories, but just because we haven't addressed this one particular problem, it's the only thing that's going to be stuck in my head. It's the only thing that I'm just going to be remembering, because we didn't address that one. We've always addressed the good moments. We've always sat down and we had fun. It was addressable. Even the bad part are also addressable. Like, bad things are also addressable to a point where you can address something and go on with life, where you know that there's nothing that you're carrying on. There's no baggages, there's no luggages, there's, I don't know what other words, because right now words are not coming in my head, that you're carrying on, you know? That way, whenever you see each other, you won't be able to just think about the bad moments. You know, we think about bad moments because we never addressed them. That just... For real, I just thought of that. Bad moments happen because we're only gonna think about bad moments because we didn't address them. For example, like my Jessie person that I'm a friend with, me and this person, we've been together for how many? Not partnership wise, not relationship wise. I mean, we've been like friends for decades, and we've had good moments, and I adore her, I value her, I value him, or whatever gender you want to give this person, you can give it to him or her. So I value this person, and they do something, you know, to screw up everything that we've shared, every good moments I've ever had. It's like they do something that really, really makes me feel like I never want to see their face again. I just hate you, you know, I just hate you. I don't want... So every time I'm going to see them, even if we've moved on with our life, you know, maybe they've moved to God knows what continent, and I'm in a different continent, but whenever I'm going to see them, I'm not going to remember the good parts that we had. I'm just going to remember the bad thing, because that's the one thing that separated us, you know? So the one thing that separated you is the one thing that you will always remember. And you don't remember it because it's the thing that separated you. You remember it because it's a thing that you never really touched on. You remember it because it's a thing that you never addressed to deal with it in a proper way, where you both would part in a positive way, knowing that, okay, you've messed up, I've messed up, but you know what? I want peace within myself, and I want you to be peaceful too. So can we put this thing behind us and just forgive each other for what we've done? I'm not saying that forgiving is easy, you know? I'm not saying it's a rocket science where it's like, oh, you can just say the word and then boom, it's done. They say I can forgive, but I can't forget. And people thinking that, you know, it's hard, I will never forgive. There's certain things people be like, this thing is unforgivable. But to God, everything is forgivable. I'm not saying you are God, because you're not, and neither am I. But everything is forgivable to him. Why can't everything be forgivable to you? Why can't you just forgive everything and just move on with life? Of course, you're able to move on with life. I'm not saying that you're gonna be stuck up. You're gonna be a stuck up who's just gonna be sticking around because somebody did something to you. You're able to move on, but why are you leaving that part too? Move on too, away from it. You've moved on, but you've not completely moved on. And for some reason, I feel like it's something that the world has normalized. Because the world has normalized that certain things shouldn't be being forgiven. So you feel like, yes, that's a thing. They're not gonna be. They shouldn't be. They shouldn't be forgiven. But that's what the world has normalized. Just because the world has normalized doesn't make it normal. You know? Just because the world has said that this thing shouldn't be forgivable doesn't mean that it shouldn't be forgivable. Because if you're able to forgive it, then forgive it. It doesn't matter what people think about you when you forgive that thing. It doesn't matter what people will say about you, because that's not who you are. For the world, it might seem like that, but for you, it's not. So we shouldn't be just trying to fit in this world, where this world is really robbing us of who we are, and just being reminded that certain things ought to be done and certain things are not to be done. But that's for the world to decide what's to be done, but that's not for me to decide what's not to be done, because I'll do things the way I feel about them. I'll handle them the way I feel. I'm just telling you, this is my point of view. Like I said, I'm not going to tell you to be here thinking things the way I think them, because then that's not who you are. But can you try and think, maybe have you also normalized the fact that certain things can't be forgiven? Is it something that has come within you? Is it something that, you know, maybe got planted in you, or something that you were born with? Or is it something that you've grown up or you've seen around you? Or is it something that the world has put in you? You know? Because if the world can put it in you, you can also take it out of you. If it's something you were born with, then that's a different story, but maybe it's just because you've seen it around you most of the time that you think it's a normal thing, that certain things can't be forgiven. But are you forgiving for them? Are you forgiving for your own well-being? Are you forgiving for the fact that, I'm not going to say go apologize to somebody when you don't mean it, because the apology that you say when you don't mean it, it can never give you peace. There's no way you're going to get peace if you go pretend to someone's face that you're saying sorry when you don't mean it. Because later on, you're the only person who's going to go around the corner and brag about it, because you were never honest. But if you're honest about saying sorry to somebody and you mean it, trust me, you won't sit around the corner and brag about it at all. Because even if somebody tries to talk about that same thing, you're going to feel like they're attacking you, because it's something that you've addressed. It's something that you've now sorted out, and anybody talking about it, it's like they're talking against you. And I don't think anybody likes anybody talking against them, so you will defend yourself. So it's not about the fact that you're saying sorry because I don't know where you want to put it, but whenever you say sorry, just think about it, the fact that you're saying sorry for yourself, so you can have peace within yourself. You know, as long as you say sorry, it's up for the person to say yes or no. I forgive you, I don't forgive you. It's for them to decide. But once you've said it, released it, and you deeply mean it, it lives out of you. You become peaceful. It's like when you have so much to share and you release it. It's like when you're heartbroken and you're so stressed, you have so much. All I'm gonna say, you want peace, forgive. You want peace, go say sorry. It doesn't hurt your ego, it just brings peace to you. So I don't know if your ego is more bigger than your peace, because I feel like it should be the other way around. there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that you've messed up, and there's nothing wrong acknowledging that you can address the issue. You don't have to go your own way, and they don't have to go their own way. Let them go their own way. But if, at least from your part, you should do something about it. Yeah, you should do something about for them, but you can only do as much. You know, if you do something for them, they're not ready to take it, then at least you've done it for yourself. You know, that's why I'm not just gonna ask you the question: is forgiveness something that, with particular things, is it something that you were born with, God created you with, or is it something that the world has made you? I just want you to think about that. Like, are particular things for you forgiven because of the fact that the world dictates them that way, or are they forgiven because it's something that it's within you, or is it something that you were born with, or is it something that just triggers you because of how you've seen it around you? And so if you think that you can't forgive somebody, I don't think you can have peace. You can pretend to have peace, but you can't 100%, because every time that name is going to come up, you're going to have to think about something that you didn't want to think about, you know? So what is that person's name that is in your head when you're listening to this podcast? Are they in your head because they did something bad to you and you didn't forgive them, or they didn't come to apologize to you? They played the part. If you're innocent and if you know you did nothing wrong, please continue having peace. But if you know you did something wrong and you have so much ego that you can't say sorry for it, that ego won't bring you peace. That ego will just tear you apart. So I don't know if your ego is more important than your peace of mind. I don't know who you're thinking about, because how would I know who you're thinking about? But who are you thinking about when you listen to this podcast? Should you address the issue for your own good? When I say for your own good, for the fact that you just don't want anything to do with it anymore. If you've left it, leave it in the right way. Leave it in the godly way, where you're able to forgive. We can all forgive. We can forgive everything. There's nothing that's not forgivable in this world. Everything is forgivable. It's just the fact that the world has made you think that it's not. But everything is addressable. You can address every problem from your part. You can only do as much yourself. I'm not going to tell you to put something in the other person that you're going to see, because they have their own way that they see things too. Okay? I'm not going to tell you to go and impose your ways of thinking about forgiveness upon them. I'm not going to tell you to impose the way they should forgive you, because that's for them to decide. I'm just going to tell you to go about the way you do it. That's healthy though. That's not toxic. Remember, you're trying to clear the toxic thing out of you, so you wouldn't go ahead and handle something toxic with toxic thing again. So just go address it the way you think will be good to give you peace. But just don't do something wrong that will just mess it up again. Everything is forgivable if you choose to make it forgivable. And if you don't choose to make it forgivable, then it's not. But just think about how is it affecting you. You know, we have the ego that tells us, no, it's not gonna affect me. That's the only ego that's speaking to us. It's not the truth. You know that, right? Yeah, maybe you don't. Maybe this is something that we should be talking about next time. But you know, your ego is something that's not good for you, because your ego is right for some moments and not for every single moment in your life. It should be used at the right time, at the right place, with the right person, at the right time again, but not everywhere. I'm not going to go deep into it. If you know what an ego means, good. Maybe you have a different definition of it more than I have, but does peace matter to you? Or is you holding on to something that's not worth it, or that's addressable, more important, that's just going to take away your peace of mind? What do you want? You want the world to dictate how you should be forgiving people, or you want yourself to dictate how you should be forgiving, or you want God's way to be the one to lead you into that matter? Like I said, I'm sorry, this one took forever. This one is longer than the usual ones. But like I said, this is something that came in my mind when I was driving, and just reminder that there's nothing in this world that you can't forgive. It's all up to you and what you choose to do. I know you might think that if you do, you're going to come out naive, but just remember it's what makes you you. So don't try to be something that you're not because you're trying to let your ego win. So thanks for listening again, and if you like this podcast and you would like to give your feedback or your opinions about it, you know what to do. I've been posting them usually, so there's a place where you can comment from Spotify and other platforms that I don't remember the name of that have a commenting section that you can use. So you can do that and comment your comments about what you think about it. Again, it's my point of view, it's not your point of view, but if you want to look at forgiveness on a different angle, maybe you can take on my angle, or maybe we can take on your angle and see why you think that way. And and please feel free to share this podcast. It might help somebody who might be finding it hard to deal with stuff that are going through their life because of the fact that they just don't know how to go about things when it comes to the fact that they need to address an issue. So feel free to share. And once again, I'm sorry for the long one. It's the longest one I've ever done, but it's just this topic was important. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys took something out of it. And remember, it's my perspective and not yours. So I respect yours just the way I would also expect you to respect mine. So thank you.